I'm Ryan Stevens.
Dr. Taylor Waters.
I'm Ben Oliver.
Welcome to the Superhuman Show, yeah?
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Superhuman Show with your host, Ben Oliver, joined by Ryan Stevens and the Doc, Taylor Waters. So we are...
the dick.
the cock.
Either or. Tomato, isn't it?
So we're back in the UK now. We got back 4 days ago. Yeah, 4 days ago from the Superhuman Experience, which was incredible. We're all still struggling with jet lag a little bit, but we wanted to do basically just a review of the experience. You know, a lot of guys listening would have been attending. A lot of the guys may not even be in the program, or they're in the program but they couldn't make it to this year's event. So we just wanted to give our thoughts overall from the experience and, you know, our top takeaways from it. But before we talk about the event, we had a photo shoot scheduled the weekend before, so we flew out a bit early. Mm-hmm. The photo shoot was great. All the coaches rocked up in shape, which was amazing to see. But I think the coolest part, like my favorite part of the whole trip, was the 4 to 5 days that we spent all together in the Airbnb. You know, we had 10, 11 coaches all under the same roof, smashing through yogurt and berries for the entire week. But it was great because a lot of those guys we have never met in person. You know, we've worked with, you know, for close to a year now, and talk weekly on Zoom and stuff. But it was the first time that we met in person and got to spend some good time together.
I said to Rai Hickey, I said, even though it's the first time we've met most of the coaches, it feels like we've known each other for ages, and everyone just clicked straight away.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
You know, and it's credit to obviously the culture that we have in the company.
Yeah,
you know?
It was. I just found everyone's senses of humor were better than I expected.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a decent expectation because just from the chats and stuff that we have on Slack and stuff. But I think everyone just brought their A game for the few days.
Yeah, everyone got on well. It was so easy to get on with everyone, and it's almost like not surprising. We're all into similar stuff. We all work for the same team. Yeah. You know, we all train. It's like there's a lot of common ground there. But to see how everyone interacted with each other and bounced off each other was class.
Yeah.
And it was like every day there were different groups going to the gym. It wasn't like us three stuck together and then another group stuck together. Like it was a complete mix every single day.
Yeah.
And then obviously we had the big chief John and Nineveh and Grant and Jamie come over for celebratory pizza and cheesecake after the photo shoot, which was great.
That was heavy. That went so well, didn't it? After several months of dieting down for this photo shoot,
sitting around the pool,
these massive pizza slices.
But no, it was epic. And then so we had the event Thursday, Friday, at the W. And one thing that stood out to me this event. So one shout out to Carolina. She organized the event for us, and it was so smooth in terms of the timekeeping. Us knowing where, like getting briefed in the morning of what's going to happen throughout the day.
Communication was good.
Yeah.
It was
meticulous.
Yeah, I knew exactly what I had to do, what I had to say at all times when on the stage. You know, it was good.
And even the guys, you know, working the slides and the mics and everything. Just it was so easy. So shout out to Carolina for that. But one thing that stood out to me, it like right out the gate when clients started coming in and checking in was. One, how excited everyone was. And everyone was genuinely excited. And we had met a couple guys the night prior or the day prior, and we were waiting to check into our rooms and stuff, and that was epic. But just the excitement of everyone. And then the second thing was just the professionalism of the coaches when they were meeting clients and everything. It's they were at work, so to speak, but it's also just who they are. But at no point did like anything happen where I'm kind of like, oh, like, come on, like we're at an event now. Like everyone was just on their A game the entire weekend. And I was so proud of everyone.
that's what I thought, because I remember coming down through the elevators, and I remember someone doing a talk, and like talk about going above and beyond. Like one of the people there setting up asked the coaches, could anyone help like set up the banners?
Oh, we had all,
like,
everyone
and all the
everyone
coaches
was
like
jumping
straight in.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you don't get like a culture like that. You know?
No, I think one of my clients was saying to me yesterday, he was like, I really appreciated you spending time with a lot of like the guys, including himself. And I was like, but that's like I said it on the coaches panel, like, it's because we care.
Yeah.
Like that's what I wanted to do. I wasn't being like,
It wasn't a chore.
No, it wasn't like, I have to go
Yeah.
down. It's like, I was like, well, I've been working with these guys for like 10, 11 months. I've got 2 days now to try and spend as much quality time with them as I can. So I'm just going to give them as many minutes as I can possibly to engage. And then, you know, it was an effort. It was, you know, don't get me wrong, they were a busy couple of days, but it was...
It's the hardest part is trying to spread yourself. Because it's like you want to give everyone the time of day.
Yeah.
But then also you're emceeing and have to be at certain places at certain times. And, you know, we've got work stuff that we have to do as well, but then also trying to give the quality time to your clients. Like, I think we did a really good job of it. I like to think that everyone that did attend the event got to spend some quality time with either their coach or, you know, speaking to a coach.
Other coaches as well,
And
I think it was, as hard as the weekend was, like as in it was busy, it was one of the most fulfilling things that I've done in as long as I can remember, to be honest. It was a very fulfilling weekend.
The amount of times I had clients come up to me and you know, one say thank you, and I'm kind of like, I haven't done it. Like, I'm not your coach. But also like just the way they speak about their coach just was it made me so proud, like of the team that we've got. Like it was fantastic.
You could see it meant a lot to them. You know, they generally wanted to be there. Like one of Taylor's clients had a shirt made with our faces on.
Oh my God. You know? Shout out Ben Shortreed.
Yeah. And like sent you like 50 hats and 50 t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's so funny because like you see these guys on the calls every week. Like Jamie Shire, perfect example. Like see him on the coach office hours every week. And then we saw him on Wednesday. I saw him on Wednesday when I was waiting to check for my room to be ready. But just to like see him in person and give him a hug, is so cool. Like just being able to like shake these guys' hands and just give them a hug, like because it's like you feel like you've been in each other's lives for like a year, you know, or more, and it's like, fucking hell, I just want to hang out, like and shoot the shit. And
It felt like meeting someone from TV.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, there's part of you that's like, what, you're a real person? Yeah. Like, you're an actual legit person. Yeah. It's like you just almost, because you've only seen them on that screen. So it like seeing them like as an actual human being, it was like, oh, this is actually quite odd, isn't it? It was different.
Like one of the clients said, oh, you're like an influencer or something like that to me.
It's funny because our Instagram is a shambles. We've got 4 followers.
It's almost like you're almost like a celebrity within context, isn't it? It's like in that bubble. You know, like you're like familiar with all these people, and they're sort of familiar with you, and you've interacted a lot with them. So then when you put yourself in there, it's almost like, oh my God, like I know all these people in this room, or at least, and they know me. And then it's like, and then you go outside and, and you're nothing. And you're nothing. No one knows me at all anymore.
But no, it was great. So we had some key speakers. We had Dr. D in the morning, and then we had Tim Grover.
Yourself?
Myself.
You were in the middle of that.
In
the old Ben Oliver sandwich.
In the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
The white part of the Oreo.
Two successful pieces of bread with the
constructive feedback, the shit sandwich.
With the scumbag filling.
But so yeah, I mean we'll go from, I mean you guys can put me in there as well, I guess, but I'll do the other guys. But we had Dr. D, myself, Tim Grover, and Todd Herman. What were like if you had like one takeaway from each speaker, what was your takeaway from each one? So we'll do Dr. D first. I liked
the hormonal stuff. I do like when he was going on about the sort of the TRT, and then also like testosterone, not just for males but for females as well, because that often gets pretty overlooked. So I thought that was quite eye-opening as well. Yeah. Because like you often hear testosterone with males, TRT, testosterone replacement therapy, and then it's like, but also females can use it as well, obviously at a much lower dosage. yeah, I thought he did that stuff very well. He covered the hormonal side really well. I thought the live testicle coming up on the PowerPoint was took my breath away. But yeah, I think I thought that stuff was really good, and I think especially for the client base that we do have, they're generally not older guys, but they're not the younger of client base either. So yeah, going down that TRT route, I thought was a very eye-opening topic for not just us, but the other clients as well. I thought it was good.
I thought what he did well as well is he brought a lot of stuff to people's attention that they probably wouldn't have thought about, not just like from a hormonal standpoint, but like things you can do to like your house and stuff.
Yeah.
That can help with like longevity too. So that was pretty good.
I mean, overall, like his enthusiasm is great. Like around, like you can tell that he truly like really nerds out over that stuff, which I always like to see. If I have a speaker that's kind of a bit flat, it's like, are you even buying what you're selling? Whereas like you can tell that Dr. D lives.
He's definitely passionate about what he does.
Yeah. And so that was good. But yeah, same thing. I think the hormonal stuff was great. I think just overall the talk was a nice introduction to that side of like here's some areas that you can start looking at. But I would just add a caveat to it that is, once you get your ducks in a row when it comes to training, like the fundamentals of training, nutrition, steps, sleep, then, I think that's a really good avenue to explore. Not to say you have to do those things before you look at that area, but they should at least be done in conjunction.
Yes.
It's not a do this so you don't have to do the fundamentals, which a lot of guys they'll try and hack their way to progress. Yeah. When really it's like a progress volumizer, but you have to be doing the thing in the first place to get the benefits.
Yes.
So it's like taking creatine but not lifting weights. It's like, well, you're not going to get the benefits of it.
Yeah, you're not actually paying the price. You're just looking for the discount.
Yeah. So that was good. So it was me next. So you guys can do me.
Fucking useless.
Yeah, the worst one.
You start. I've got nothing.
No, to be honest, mate, I was really impressed with your speech. As much as I don't want to kiss your ass, it was like, because I could tell you were nervous at the start of the day. Like you were quite quiet in the morning, obviously going through stuff in your head. And I don't think you would run through the presentation start to finish, like speaking it out loud. You'd obviously gone through it in your head several times, stuff.
Yeah.
And to go up in front of all those people then and deliver it as well as you did, I was almost like when you were going up, I was like, come on now, get this right. God alive. Like you're almost watching your kids go to school on the first day, going to the big school. And I was like, I hope you don't get his head kicked in up there.
Yeah. It's like all the other speakers went up, and my heart was pounding watching you go up. So obviously I know you personally.
Yeah. And I tell you what, because I was the MC, I was nervous when I first went on stage. And once I started talking and sort of familiarized myself, I was fine. Then when I introduced you, I got really nervous. Like, I don't know why. I looked up and I was like hyperventilating. Because I think it was because I wanted to do you justice bringing you on. But also, like, because I wanted to do justice, I was like, but what if I don't? And then I was like, I was breathing heavy, and I was like, mate, now you're breathing really heavy. It sounds like you're just knackered.
Tell the people how you opened him up. 220 pounds muscle.
Yeah. 220 pounds muscle, steel, and sex appeal. Yeah,
come on up, Mr. Ben Oliver.
I was obviously lying. He was about 240 pounds at the time. No, 240 pounds of water. That's what I should have said.
You did a fucking phenomenal job, to be fair, didn't you?
It was it's almost like you got up and the nerves were gone. Like you presented as if you'd done it so many times. I was like, fair play. Like it didn't show. And most people show like a little bit of nerves. Like they might stumble on their words a bit, or you can hear it in their voice a little bit, or they joke a little bit to try and sort of settle themselves. But you went up and you executed it to an absolute T. And I thought the presentation what was great is there were action points that you could take literally immediately out of that room and implement into your life right away.
Solve problems, not goal set, and the results will come to you when you solve the problems. And then you went through literally a 5-step stage on how to do that. Phenomenal. People can walk out of that room and implement that straight away.
Yeah. I mean, that was all, like with any of those talks, it's always like I want to give someone something they can go and do. Because it's like, you know, even because obviously the next speaker was Tim. Like I love Tim. Like he's intense. Like, but just he's mastered the pause. You know,
Talk about the experience. Like when you're up on that stage, you feel like you always have to be doing something.
Yeah.
Whereas he would pause, and almost I would feel uncomfortable. I'd be like, "Oh, say something before I do."
I also want to go back to Ben's speech mix. I think how you know when you do a good presentation, like your Q&A at the end was like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You had the most people ask questions at the end.
Yeah.
That's when you know.
opened up for questions. And they all flew in.
Yeah, that's when like you had to stop you said one more question.
To cut when it was done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when you know you do a good job.
But I mean, I like that stuff, like the on the spot questions, because then it's like, well, here's a real life situation that you can, and then other people can listen. And it's like, oh, like that's exactly how you would work through that that situation. And they were really good questions as well.
Yeah.
Who was next? Tim.
It was Tim next.
Tim Grover.
Or was it Todd?
No, it was Tim.
Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim was great. Tim was he definitely had like the most, I guess, I don't want to say like authority, but like he's such an intense figure that it's like he could walk on stage and say nothing and the room would be dead silent.
Yeah.
You know, he wouldn't have to even go, like everyone would just be just enamored by him. Which I've not really seen in person before, for someone to have that kind of like stage presence.
Yeah.
So it was quite like almost a bit chilling. Like it's like, fucking hell. Like,
you could tell like you're shit hot at what you do. Like you're one of the best here. Like you're so confident up there.
Yeah.
I tell you when you know you're confident. Remember when he asked one of the clients to stand up and they had the hands in the pocket and he said, take your hands out of the pocket, I'm from Chicago.
That was my client, Anthony. And he's a big boy as well. I was like, I felt like saying, Tim, watch your mouth, mate.
And the way he said it was like in a jokey way. I was like, I'm from Chicago. Like we don't have hands in our pocket.
But no, he was great. I think like the two quotes that stood out to me was the first one was when the price of winning is high, balance will be low. Yeah. When the price of winning is low, balance will be high. Which I love, because I think people's expectation of this idea of everything being balanced in order to achieve something at the highest level, it's just false. Like, and I don't want to say that it's a guarantee, but it's very, very, very likely you're going to have imbalance to some extent when you want to achieve something great.
Yeah.
Extreme outcomes aren't achieved through balanced behaviors.
Yeah.
My favorite takeaway was when he spoke about like who's got like your heart is like a lock.
That was the second one.
Yeah,
like, who's got the keys to your heart that shouldn't have the key?
Yeah, you've only got so many heartbeats. Give them to those that deserve it. You know. And he also said, make those people work for it each day as well.
Yeah.
Which means some people can have your keys,
earn those keys,
but you can take them back.
Off them.
You know. So that was that's what stood out to me.
Yeah, I love and this is something that I thought about before, is he was like, when was the last time you like put a bet on a sports team? And he was like, when you're out your seat and you're dying for them to win, or like you see people watching a sports team and they're crying because they've lost. And it was like, when was the last time you wanted yourself to win that much?
Yeah.
It's like you lose in life and you just sit there and be like, okay, fair enough. But then you got this random sports team who've lost and you're like sobbing or you're like devastated. And it's like, why do you care more about these 11, 15 blokes who likely...
You don't even know who you are.
Who just got paid an absolute wedge,
Yeah.
don't know who you are, and they're going to go home and be like, there you are, let's just go on to the next game.
Yep.
And you're there moping around feeling sorry for yourself. And it's like, when was the last time you felt that passionate about yourself winning?
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, yeah, you know what, it is... Like, if you wanted yourself to win as much as you wanted that team to win, you'd probably be a lot more driven in life and you'd probably be a lot more further ahead.
Yeah. Another one that stood out to me was where he said, if showing up is half the battle, you're so far from winning, don't even bother turning up. And I totally agree with that. But because of the word that he says, winning, like,
yes,
if showing up is half the battle, like, it's true, you probably are miles away from winning. However, sometimes for a lot of people, showing up is all of the battle.
Yeah.
Like it's like them just signing up to a program or going to the gym, like, is a huge battle for them. And that is like, that's a win for them.
Yeah.
And so like, I totally understand from his context of like, you know, if you want to be a champion, If you have to drag yourself to the gym, it's like, you ain't a fucking champion, period. Like if you have one day where you have to, like, the thought of like, I don't want to do it, like you're not a champion. And I totally agree with that, you know, because we've spoke about like competitors and sport in other podcasts where it's like, it's a different
breed,
different ball game. But you know, if the, you know, the goal isn't necessarily winning, then, or like, you know, or being the best, like at that thing, you have to kind of just take the wins of like, it's the win for you in that moment. You know, and like, so for someone that's never been to the gym before to then go on their own is all the battle. And for them to show up like that, I'm like for them to go like, dude, it took you a year just to go to the gym, you're a fucking loser, like you're never gonna win, like that's not productive for anything. But if that guy said, I want to be Mr. Olympia, it took me a year to go to the gym, I'd be like, you ain't ever being Mr. Olympia. Like, and so I totally understand the
context of what he was saying. But winning within context.
Context is king with that.
But no, he was epic. But just the way he held the room through that talk was incredible. So then day 2, we had Todd Herman.
The alter ego.
Todd was my favorite.
Yeah.
I thought he had the perfect
You were my
balance
favorite.
Ben was off.
Yeah, you're my favorite.
But he presented like so well, very, very clear. You know, had some good jokes in there, you know, made everyone laugh. The presentation was really smooth. You could tell he had been doing this for decades, you know, and it was his bread and butter. And I love to see that it's like you could ask him anything on the topic and he would be able to come up with the answer right out the gate. The thing that got me the most though, was, so he has his book Alter Ego, and he also has almost like a kid's version of it.
Yeah.
And he read the book is, you read it in 60 seconds. And he had the pages on the slides, and that almost got me more than Tim's intense speech or anything. Yeah. Because it was, I don't know if it got you more as well, because you've got kids. Where it's like, the amount of clients that I saw open up their phones and go on Amazon to order that book when he was reading through it, I was like, I think even every adult should read this book.
The biggest one that got me was when he posted the video talking to his kid about who lost the race, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to give you special powers. This band is going to turn you into Chase." And obviously, my kids watch Super Wings all the time. I think it's Super Wings.
Is it wings or dogs? I don't know.
Yeah, one of them anyway. But he's like. And I was like, God, like you were going to be Chase when you put this headband on, and then you think you're Chase, and then it's like, you're going to win the race. You know, and
I think that like because a lot of, if not, I don't want to say all, but the majority of our clients have kids. Yeah, and so I think it was such a good real life example. Where because when we look about coaching, it's like, well, how would I coach this to a child? How do I make this as simple as possible? And so I think him using his kid as an example is such a great way of taking this like complicated like identity kind of like construction thing which he went through to like, and here's how you actually do it. And it's like you give your kid a bandana and say they're now going to be Chase. Like, and it's and so I love how he took all of the concepts and stuff that he's built over the last, you know, couple decades, but then gives you an example of like, here's how you do it. Because that, I always feel like that part's missing. And it's like, cool, you've spent an hour talking about concepts and ideas. What the fuck am I going to do with that? And so like the fact that he like had a real world example where it worked, you know, and it was with a child as well. So it's very, very simple. I thought was great.
I like that. I used to have it in my PhD when I used to go to conferences and things, and people would present stuff and go on this big spiel about the research, and like my question at the end would always be like, and now what? Like what? Okay, yeah, that was interesting, but what am I supposed to do when I leave this room? And I think that's where, again, that's why I like yours as well, is because there's a clear way to take action as soon as I get out the room, rather than just sort of general concepts that are interesting to think about. But unless you act on them, they might actually disappear from your mind within the near future.
It's that like, you know, even with like God, to talk about getting raw emotion out of people. Like there were people crying, you know, after Tim's talk.
I think that was definitely the most emotionally provoking one.
Yeah. But then it's like, because it always like, I always view things like as a coach now. But it's like, okay, I've evoked this emotion from someone. Now what do we do with that? Because if we don't do anything with it, then it just dissipates,
The emotional
and then we go
stuff,
back to doing exactly what we were doing. And so it's like, let's get the raw emotion like up, but then we need a specific action to do kind of with it. And that, I
think Todd found a really good balance with that, though. So I think he was quite emotional, but also it's like, this is what you can do with it.
Yep.
This is the action.
Yeah. So no, they were epic. And then so we had Todd, and then we had the coaches panel.
Yeah.
Which was great.
I must give you credit. You were fucking funny on that.
You were great. You were
pissed.
fantastic.
We can't get the photos up, can we?
It was a good day.
It was I mean, it was a shame that we couldn't get all the coaches up there, but you know, we've got 25 coaches now.
You know what? Feedback I've had since would be some more coaches panels.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
For future events?
I like that.
So maybe you can do a coach panel Saturday and Sunday and get more coaches on.
Yeah, different group. Because obviously we couldn't have 25 people stood on that stage. We'll probably fucking go through it. But and then people would just be stood there and wouldn't get a chance to speak. But for the coaches that we had on there, like I think the questions were great. The answers that were given were really, really good. And just to kind of hear it from different coaches, which may or may not be your personal coach.
Yeah.
And that's why I think like the coach office hours that we have every week, you know, with our clients are so good, because you hear other people's perspectives. Because we all have our different opinions.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
just looking at it through a different lens, isn't it? We've all experienced life through a different way, and we all bring a different spin on things.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why the panel worked so well, because we'd spent that week all together as well. Like conversation flew very well, bounced off each other. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all end up in the same place, but we have put our different flavor on how we get there.
Yeah. So that was great. And then we had,
I bet your flavor's bland.
your
Not very
flavor's barbecue sauce.
And not much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And so we had the Hall of Fame afterwards.
That was amazing.
Which was so the Hall of Fame coaches will put forward clients who they feel have made exceptional transformations in the program, and then that will get put basically in front of a board where we decide and judge. And it's yes, it is subjective, but it's not the. So, you know, if you were put forward and you didn't get into the Hall of Fame, that's not your coach saying, no, you're not good enough. It's, we've compared it to all the other ones. We're like a little bit more, you know, or yes, you're in. So it's not just overall weight loss, you know, it's the overall, visual, mental, the whole thing.
And like sometimes you've made a phenomenal transformation, but for where your goal is, you got a bit more to go. And like I had that with some of my guys. It was like, you know what, I probably could have put them forward for it, but they're not where they want to be right now. And I feel like to get into Hall of Fame, you want to be where you want to be.
And you want that
as
after
well.
picture to be your after picture.
Yeah.
Not like like halfway there kind of thing.
Yeah.
All my clients that didn't get in there, they all messaged me saying, I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame in 25. So they were inspired by it.
The amount of clients I've had that are like, let's go, like Hall of Fame next year.
They won the jersey next year.
Yeah. So that was epic. But again, to see those guys come up and collect their jerseys, you know, and hug their coach and celebrate those wins. And the cool thing is, like, you could see all the clients are rooting for all the other clients.
Yeah.
You know, there's no jealousy or anything like that. It's genuine pride, you know, like everyone being proud of these guys just making these epic transformations.
They get inspired by them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was such a good, like I was saying to Kirk, one of my guys, I remember having a conversation about the Hall of Fame like 9 months ago. So he'd been in the program like 1 or 2 months. And he was like, yeah, you know, I would really love to. And then to see him like walk across the stage and like slap his hand, give him a big hug. I was like, yes. Like, again, like when you make a plan like that and then you execute and then it all comes together, it was such a good feeling seeing all of them, like Barrett, Jason, Kirk, like all of them coming up, Gabe. You know, it was such a nice feeling to see them come up and get their jersey. And it's almost like a little tip of the hat for the hard work that they put in, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we had Super Human of the Year, Ashley Garcia,
Yes.
who had a crazy transformation. And what's cool about that transformation, because I worked with her for the first year of her transformation, and then she worked with Brittany and still works with Brittany. But like, you know, the majority of the weight loss happened in the first year, and she mentioned it when she was speaking on stage, but there was the moment where we spoke about it in the coaches panel, like that danger zone, where it's like you're good enough, and I remember we were kind of coasting for a couple weeks, and Ashley was kind of like, I think this is just where my body is meant to be, and I was literally like, fuck that. And I was like, I said, are you average at real estate? She's like, no, I'm the fucking best. And I was like, right. Like, you an average mum? It's like, no, I'm a fucking great mum. And it's like, right. So why the fuck would you set off average with your shape? And it was like, you're right. And literally within like the next 4 weeks, it's like another 10 pounds down. Just getting dialed in. And so like that was a really like good turning point. But the thing as well, and John talks about this, is like, it's all good and well getting that cool after picture, but how do you look in a year's time? Like, do you still look like that after picture or better than that after picture? Like, and Ashley did. So I think a lot of the guys, you know, even if you are gunning for the Hall of Fame, like that's cool, but the real, like, you want to live in the Hall of Fame for the rest of your life.
Yes.
So it's not about just starving yourself for 12 weeks, getting this cool after picture. You know, you don't want to be rocking up on stage 50 pounds heavier than that after picture. You know, like that, like we wouldn't give you your jersey, you know, for that. So it's like,
but it wouldn't fit. So
It's like, don't show me your 90-day transformation, show me your 900-day transformation.
And so it's about living that lifestyle. And I think the coaches did a really good job of representing that. 100%. Like they all live and breathe this stuff, and hopefully that was shown to the clients over the weekend.
Yeah, that was it in like the photo shoot. I remember waiting my turn in the photo shoot, and I just sat down looking around and seeing all the clients, those are all the coaches, all diced up, all getting their pump on. I was like, this is badass. Like this is sick.
It's I showed a guy at the gym I was talking to, because he coaches online just for himself. He's a bodybuilder. And because he had seen me, kind of my face just slowly sinking in across the weeks, and I said, I've got a photo shoot next week. And then I kind of flicked through our general Slack channel, because John had asked everyone to post some like photos of their like after pictures kind of thing for marketing. And I was scrolling through, and he was like, fucking hell, it's like the Avengers. And I was like, mate, this is like half our team. This is even everyone. But it's so cool to be a part of that, where not like the standard is that high, but the like that's the standard now. Like it's like that's the baseline. And like we were saying to the coaches last week, I commend everyone, like all the coaches, on what they brought to the event. But now that's our standard. Like that's not like, oh, we did amazing, like we can chill next time. It's like no. We have to do better than that next time, and we will. And so I think for anyone that didn't get to come to this event, for other obligations and things, as soon as the dates have been announced for next year's, get your tickets. Because next year is going to be even crazier. But I guarantee it will change your perspective on a lot of things. It will definitely be an event for you to remember. And the other thing as well is I met a lot of spouses that come to the event with their partners, and who the partners weren't in Supra. And they loved the weekend. Half of them are considering, signing up. Even if not, they've already lost a significant amount of weight just by being around their partner that's in the program. Because I think a lot of spouses might see John's ad, and then they see, the husband sign up and be like, why are you signing up to this? Like, this is terrible. And then they see the progress that their husband is making, and they're like, so what do you actually do then? And then, but I think going behind the curtain and meeting the team and being like, it completely, you're like, oh my God, like this is not what I thought it was.
No, seeing the culture and seeing the way everyone engages and seeing the standard of coaching and seeing just the team and everything we put together, it's like, okay, this is legit. This is legit.
Yeah. So credit John Nineveh for conjuring up this superhuman in the first place. It's and all of the coaches, we definitely speak on behalf of all the coaches, but we're all so hyped to be part of it.
It's just got me buzzing for another year now. It's like let's just keep this rocket going, and another big one next year.
So to sum up, the event was insane. get your tickets for next year as soon as it's announced. So it's not being announced yet. So don't ask in the forum, where are the tickets? As soon as that is announced, make sure you get tickets.
Although there's talks of somewhere.
Talks of Miami.
Miami.
Yeah. So potentially for all you East Coasters,
Will Smith.
closer to home, closer flight for us. So that's a win. But yeah, and in the meantime, if you're gunning for that Hall of Fame, now's the time to start.
Yeah.
You,
This is it.
you get that in, and you'll be collecting that Hall of Famer jersey next year.
The journey starts till next year now.
Amen. The pursuit never stops.
Pursuit never stops.
So thank you as always for listening, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes and Spotify, and we'll catch you next week.
If you love this show, please like, share, and leave us a 5-star review so that we can help more people. I'm John Madsen, Superhuman CEO, reminding you to always go get what's yours.